look in the eyes of my brother without shedding a tear for my brother.
Yo.
I thought one of y'all was gonna hit the falsetto. Sounds all good.
It was up to Adam.
Yeah.
Can't do it no more.
Pointing fingers. It ain't me. All right. Party people. I know you came here to party, but we came here to talk.
Do some podding.
But if you're still here, welcome back to another episode of the InforMILLy Honest podcast. If you are new here, thank you. We're four brothers who come together typically every week to just have a conversation, catch up, get to know each other more. Believe it or not, we've been together for over 20 years and enjoying the ride, yo. This is a wonderful outlet for all of us, and we appreciate you guys for joining us and listening. And of course, if you have any comments, concerns, questions, things you want us to talk about, or otherwise, just hit us up at our email, which is the informillyhonestpodcast@gmail.com. You can hit us up on Instagram at InforMILLy and of course, Twitter. If you have Twitter fingers, hit us up at InforMILLy_HP. We are live and direct.
Or hit us up in the streets.
Yeah, live and direct, yo. No Grand Theft
Holla
Auto.
G Unit.
But yeah. Exactly. And of course, we got our three principles of being forthright, vulnerable, and honest, and we keep it gangster. That's the vibe here. That's the atmosphere, and we encourage you to do your best to go about every conversation, encounter, keeping those three principles in mind as well. So, fellas, without further ado, how the fuck are you? Woo! Look, the bars are present. All right, the bars are present. Even when my
Feeling
common
good,
sense
feeling
isn't,
great.
the bars are present. Yeah. It's been another week.
Feeling great. How are you?
Hanging in there, man. I'm hanging in there. Yo, I actually got you guys might have seen it. I did post one picture on my Instagram, but about a week ago or so, my girl and I, a vulnerable situation or experience for us was just taking like vulnerable body positivity pictures of one another. It was mainly like me shooting her, but there was a couple where she shot at me. And it's definitely interesting. I mean, other podcasters or people who are actors or what have you, who are being recorded. There's something about being recorded or having a camera face at you that can do something a little bit. You just like when you recognize the camera's on you. There's some part of you, maybe folks, of course, get more used to it. You become more comfortable over time. But at least in the beginning, when something's aimed at you, you recognize there's something that's like, oh, okay, do I put on the show, or how do I maintain just being this no mask person? You know what I'm saying? How do I stay?
You turn into a star. You a superstar, baby.
Yeah, exactly. So it was definitely interesting to see, man. We took, I think, all of like 36, 37 pics because she wanted to experiment with her film camera, which I think is dope. She's got into photography. I think I mentioned that to you guys already, but they were like more body positivity, just being vulnerable. And all in all, it was just a wonderful way to remind me that like you can still find new ways to be vulnerable with somebody you've known for a long time and feel like you are already comfortable with. It was really cool, man. So I think I posted one of them on the gram already. But yeah, man, that was a very wonderful experience. It was super creative. I wish we could I might have to leak a couple of the other ones and shit. You know what I'm saying? Just tell her it was TMZ.
You gotta make them pay for that one, man.
Yeah, right. It's gonna be PPV. Yeah. But that was my vulnerable moment for the week, man. It was really cool. It was like really, really, really insightful too.
Yeah, that's cool. I believe I saw the pic that you posted.
Yep, I saw it. Yeah, it was cool. I figured it was film just by it looked like a film picture. Film is hard. It's like it's it's not like a digital camera where you can like take a picture, you see how it comes out, and then you can change your settings, and it's a film. You can't do that. So you got to
you can't just
know.
point and shoot. That focus takes focus,
too.
man. It's the tough part.
Focusing is like manually focusing is way harder than you would think, because you're focusing and you're trying to get obviously whatever you're taking a picture of, you want it to be in focus. But sometimes for me at least, I'll be okay, this looks sharp, and then I'm like, is it? And then like I second guess, then I keep going, then I mess it up. So like that's why I shoot in autofocus. But I think most film cameras are like the lenses are manual. Most of them at least. So it's hard.
I think they can be pretty pricey too to like to replace once certain parts start like messing up. She had this issue. I think there's like some foam or something like kind of tearing up, and the way you gotta go in is like if you don't do it right, you fuck the whole thing up. Yeah, see, and it can be like a pricey situation. So
I'm not. I don't have a film camera, so I don't know all the ins and outs. But I would guess and say it would be expensive simply because they don't make new film cameras anymore. So like whatever you buy is going to be older. So obviously it's going to be harder to find parts for it. And just like buying an old car, it's like,
Yeah, man. And side note, I might have mentioned this too, but how we got the camera was interesting. We actually were in Washington. This is during our year-long traveling trip, and we were in Washington at the time, and we went into this like consignment shop almost, like but wonderfully curated, and we met the owner. And then the next time we went, the owner was having a like a garage sale or an estate sale of sorts at her house. So we went there, and at the time I was like, "Oh yeah, what does your husband do?" Blah blah blah. And she was like, "Oh, he's a traveling musician. No biggie, whatever. Cool." So we get there and find out that like her husband is the drummer of her Modest Mouse, the group. So we're like, but I could tell she was trying to be nonchalant and like, got sick of people asking. She was like, "Oh yeah." I was like, "Well, I hope he makes it. I hope he's good." Nice. Yeah. Turns out we get this camera.
They've done a thing or two.
Yeah. Turns out Nat gets the camera for like, it was like a $300 camera for $4 at the drummer from Modest Mouse's crib as they were moving to like a more family friendly home because they just got a child. So that's cool. Very interesting.
That's cool.
You know what the camera, like the brand of the camera is?
Nokia. Boo. What is it? Nikon. I'm sorry. No, Nikon. My bad.
Okay.
My bad.
Okay.
I'm tripping. Y'all edit that dumb answer out.
Like say, okay, I didn't know they made cameras.
Yeah, right. That shit from like 87.
I remember finding a Nokia cell phone when I was in the 6th grade. And it didn't work or anything, so I was just playing Snake on it, and I didn't have a charger, so
I thought they were good for it, probably.
Yeah, I just played Snake on it until it died, and then that was it. Just like,
yeah, right. That's all.
But it lasted for like days, though. Back then, phones battery could last for days without charging. So.
Yeah, I actually eventually, I want to. That is a question for you guys that just came up. Is like, tell me a situation either where it's happened to your phone or somebody else's where you thought for sure your phone was done. Like either you couldn't find it, or when you did find it, you thought it would be dead and it was like miraculously working again. And you were like, yo, this is like, because in those situations for me, it's always been old ass phones that lasted. Like the new shit, the same thing happened. I don't think it would fare the same. So
definitely got a story with that one. This is, I don't know, maybe 5-6 years ago. Kirsten left her phone in the airport. Like it fell, like, I don't know, she, like you're sitting in one of the mini seats. So she was in the airport. I wasn't there with her, so she just what I was told, but I guess it fell out her pocket, purse, whatever, and she did the track my phone type thing, and that's how she found out it was at the airport, and it was still there, the battery was still on, and she actually was able to go back to the airport, get her phone, and it was still on.
That's wild, crazy. Man.
In fact, the fact that it didn't die was the only way she was able to find it, because once it dies, you can't find it anymore. So, or at least whatever this phone was, it wasn't like I don't think it was like an iPhone or anything. It was like an older phone, but she could still use that function to find it. So I was just amazed that she found her phone in the airport of all places. Like
I usually don't hear about that working.
Yeah.
Like
Yo,
find your
I'm just
phone.
picturing like people posting signs up saying like, "Find my phone, your DOA. I need my phone, DOA." Dead or alive.
Yeah.
Marcus, what about you, man?
I got a recent one, man. I went fishing like a few months ago.
Oh, dope. That's something that I have
Yeah.
not done in years,
No,
dude.
yeah.
Dang.
It was pretty fun.
At least 20 years.
I didn't catch nothing. But I was on a dock and I wear these
Sitting on the dock
pants.
of the All right, I'm done.
That's the first thing I thought of.
I was sitting on the docks, bro. And I was wearing these pants. And I hate pants that like the pocket is ridiculous. Like the opening for it, like just allows everything to fall out, basically.
Oh, okay. The shallow pockets.
Yeah, it's shallow,
Yeah,
but then
shallow
then
and the
little
slant.
slit is
The slit can't be at too much of an angle. Just make that motherfucker like this. Why can't it
it's
just
like
be
if
like
it's
this?
already
Can it be
shallow,
more-
then
Yeah.
are you trying to make my stuff fall out when I That's why I like zippers. But anyway, I had my my phone in my pocket and I was sitting on the edge of the railing of the dock on some, Huckleberry Finn type shit.
Yeah.
And
waiting for your raft to float by.
no shoes on, that type of style. And I heard a bloop,
Yeah.
and I thought it was a fish jumping. I'm like, dang, the fish jumping, man. Like
it's lit over
fish out here
here.
jumping. I'm not catching nothing, but
But
So,
but they fuck with me though. They fuck with me.
shortly after I realized it's not fish, it's my phone that went bloop. And so I'm like, wow, like I'm about to find out if this phone is really waterproof because I'm going after it. And luckily where I was at, like when I got in the water, it was like only up to like a little bit past my knees.
Okay.
So I rolled up my pants and was just reaching around for like 10 minutes and I finally found it. And it turned on with no problems. Well,
That's
I mean,
crazy.
it was still on with no problems. And I just turned it off and took the cover off and left it in the sun or whatever and let it dry. And it was a happy ending to the story. But
That's crazy.
most of the
Damn,
time I
10
lose
minutes?
my phone, man.
Damn.
I'm bad with phones. I'm hard on them. But the phone gods were nice to me that day.
Yo, 10 minutes though in water? Damn, dude.
Yeah, it was about
That's impressive.
at least 5 to 10 minutes, yeah.
What type of phone you got?
Huh? It's a Pixel.
Oh,
Google
yeah.
Pixel,
Oh yeah, I remember you saying that like last episode, maybe.
Yeah. So
Damn, yo. That's wild.
That's
the one.
That's some
Yeah.
good advertising. Like
Yeah, yeah, right.
Go get a Google Pixel.
we gotta reach out to them. Like, look, man, we just gave
Yeah, man.
Yo, we just gave you 17 new customers. Y'all better come on.
Let me get
Y'all
give me
better
that
come
Google
on right now.
Pixel. What I think they own 6. Just came out, maybe.
Well, my story is Ken, my uncle, man. He lost his phone for a whole. It was in the snow in the front yard and 3 feet of snow for a whole summer. I mean, for a whole winter. I'm sorry, we didn't find that shit till the next spring when the
Man.
snow was melting and the phone turned on and he called my aunt. The phone turned on. And he made a fucking phone call outside of the soggy ass phone.
That's crazy.
Dang.
And everything worked. I was like, what? I don't know if like my iPhone would have fared that same way.
Yeah,
With no case, because this was a flip phone,
Okay. Oh, okay. That's still crazy though.
So were they just made different? Do they just not make them like that anymore, or what?
No, they don't.
But
I think the screens, like, well, obviously now they make them more waterproof. Like most of them, like that's a standard feature almost up to a certain depth
yeah.
in amount of time. But back then, I think they did make the phones a little more like that Nokia you was talking about. Like that's like known to withstand
the brick.
Yeah, like apocalypse.
A fall from the top of the World Trade Center.
It might be the best zombie weapon, like to just
Dual
hit
purpose.
somebody with a Nokia phone on a string.
Yeah, that's wild, man. That's wild. Well, Marco, you got any experiences? I guess that was your vulnerable experience right there too. That shit served
Yeah,
two purposes.
I didn't
right there.
I didn't mention that when it happened. I always forget, like, not forget, but don't like bring up the best instances that can answer each
Yeah.
question.
Oh no,
But
I feel you.
that was a good one.
It's hard to do. I feel like they really have to stand out, you know?
Yeah. But I have this thing where it's not like I have a bad memory, but sometimes like that, I'm not gonna forget that. It's just that I forgot to bring it up or whatever. My recall.
It just didn't come up in the moment.
Exercise my recall.
Yeah, like total recall.
Yeah, total recall.
Is that
total recall?
Is that Mr. Schwarzenegger? Who started that?
Man.
Okay, yeah. Yo, let's just talk about him for a little bit, bro.
Arnold.
Yeah, that movie was dope. What's the other one where he was like he was that superhero, but he was trying to find that last Christmas gift, that like action figure for
Turbo
his son.
Man. You talking about
with Sinbad in it?
Yeah, Jingle All the Way.
Jingle All the Way.
That shit was cold, dude.
I was thinking about that movie recently. I was thinking about that movie recently. When I was a kid, like that was like one of my favorite movies.
Me too.
And I would just watch it just over and over again. Like I thought it was so cool for some reason.
I don't even remember the son's name.
I don't either, but
I was thinking about watching Danny, I come for you, Danny. Oh man, that's great, bro. By the way, do we know anybody who does really good in like impersonations of people? Like, do we have any like friends who are like really good? Okay. Like,
I don't know anybody, no.
That we did do is like really good impersonations.
I don't know anybody, but I will say I met a guy like years ago when I was in the Air Force. This is around the time I first joined, actually. So this is a long time ago. I met a good dude. He could do a really good, the Joker, Heath Ledger's Joker.
Mm-hmm.
I met a guy who could do a really good impression of that. It was pretty funny. That's my only. I love impersonations or impressions. Yeah. I don't know what's the right word. Yeah. I was just watching this guy. I forgot his name, but he was doing a Denzel impression.
Oh yeah,
it's like, to me, it's the best Denzel impression out there. He's talking about he went to like a restaurant or something, and Denzel owns the restaurant. I don't know if you've seen it or heard it, but it's just funny.
My favorite is, I don't know if y'all know Godfrey.
Yeah.
He's like the best impersonation.
Yeah, he's good.
He's been on Vlad a couple times.
Yep.
Yeah, he's dope. Shout out to I watch his podcast sometimes too.
Oh, I didn't even know he had one, man.
Yeah. I seen the clip on his podcast and he was talking on Steve Harvey.
Oh yeah,
it's hilarious.
What the hell?
It's pretty good.
Well, he was impersonating Steve Harvey. Or he had him on the podcast.
Yeah,
now he was impersonating him.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
I want to say banana, Steve.
Oh, shit.
Oh, hell no. You mean to tell your head? She said, yeah.
A party at a party.
So they said. The hell was that? Yeah.
Yeah, that dude is funny, man. Yeah. Hey, I tell you something else vulnerable to happen, bro. For bros, plural. As you might have seen, your boy copped his first installment of eggnog. But for the season, the first installment is the first wave is upon us, and it was vulnerable. It was definitely vulnerable. I'm about to be fucked up, yo. My digestive system is about to be fucked for sure, for sure, yo.
I'm a
fiend, man. Before. Never tried it.
Honestly, I'm the type of person where if something sounds like it wouldn't be good, I'm not gonna try it. And for me, eggnog sounds disgusting. Like those two words together, it sounds like it wouldn't be good. Even if people swear by it and it happened for decades,
I think I had it before, but I wasn't able to get into it because, like, you usually stuffed around the holiday, and that's the type of drink where you gotta. I don't know.
It's pretty rich.
Yeah, it's rich. So when you drink it, it's like. I don't know if you could drink that on the full stomach. I don't know. I don't understand how to drink it yet.
I understand. It's
But then
actually
again,
funny
I
you
don't.
said that. Go
I
ahead.
don't think I've had it like great eggnog like
Oh,
on the
this
movies. They
Southern
act like
Comfort.
it's so amazing. Oh,
Yeah,
Southern Comfort.
it is. The Southern Comfort is the brand I typically choose. I mean, they have like the Publix or like general store grocery store brands or like the Deans and shit. You know what I'm saying? But they're not like with all the Christmas patterns and stuff on it, like the designs on it. But Southern Comfort is like the one that typically I feel like a more of an old school traditional brand, and like perhaps that's the ones they would actually mix with bourbon and all that other shit. Yeah. Which I just think, let's talk about it. Can we talk about it? Some shit you just don't ruin with alcohol. Some shit you just don't ruin with alcohol, man. We ain't got to do that. We don't have to put alcohol in every. Man.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, what?
I'm curious.
Like eggnog. Like eggnog is the reason why I was actually checking out, and the cashier, I looked at the cashier and the lady bag, and I was like, yo, I got a fucking problem for real. I'm about to kill this before I even get home. And it's like it's a 4-minute drive. I'm about to kill this. And the cashier was like, well, she was like, I never tried it. I was like, you never had it? She was like, well, I really don't like eggs. And I was like, well, I guess the nog is the second half is not good enough to keep you in the game, man.
But that's what I'm saying though. Like the word nog, it doesn't sound like something I want to drink.
It's not redeeming enough. Yeah,
it's a thick drink, so you thinking like I'm drinking eggs or something.
Yeah.
Nah,
egg, honestly, the word egg don't sound good.
Yeah,
really.
it's not. It don't sound good as a drink.
I eat eggs, but it's like I don't know if I want to drink egg. And I know it's not like they just whipped up some egg and poured it in. I know that, but
of course, but you're right though. I mean, it's
it
like
make you think that though.
Yeah.
It is pretty. It's pretty rich. It's thick, and like I get Southern Comfort. One is like the traditional, like the regular flavor, and one is like sometimes they'll add vanilla spice or something to it.
Mm-hmm.
But then like beyond that, it's like you add different bourbons and other alcohols to it. I guess that's how it originally was consumed, just with alcohol. Is what I was told. So I'm not. I mean, fact check me on that. But hit me with the ding.
You know what?
I got you, man. Let's find the history behind eggnog.
Like, you know what? When I was in Florida, I was in South Florida, so there's a huge Hispanic population. And I worked with this guy. I think. So have you guys heard of that drink? It's like a Puerto Rican drink where it's like, I think it is eggnog and maybe rum and some other stuff. I think it's called like Coke. Is it coquito or?
I know. I don't know I know what you're talking about. I've had that.
Okay,
I've had that.
That I have had actually. But that's the only form of eggnog.
And it was rich, right?
Pretty rich. I didn't even have a whole cup. I got I just poured like a little sip because I didn't want to pour a whole cup and not like it. And then
Got you. Okay. The reason why I think I had that last year, and a friend of mine I used to work with is part Puerto Rican, and I think she made that drink for a buddy of mine and myself, and it was just so strong that I actually like an eggnog flavor. So when the alcohol just takes over everything, it's harder for me to drink it. Like it's like the other flavor outside of alcohol just provided thickness. It just like it's not enough for me, man. But
do y'all like
the eggnog is super sweet.
Horchata?
Yes,
maybe that was it. I think maybe that's what it was.
Okay. I feel like horchata is the one that's more common. The friend of mine made this thing that I had like never heard of before, but it was like so strong, man. So strong.
Yeah,
horchata is dope though.
Yeah, I always get it at the taco spot, but they make it different everywhere. But it is super sweet sometimes.
Mm-hmm.
I believe it's rice milk. That's what that is.
Yes, I believe so.
Okay.
I believe
it's
so.
Kind of like eggnog, but
okay, I was wrong. It was coquito. It's coquito is what I had. But maybe
yes. I think you're talking about what my friend made.
Okay, so I'm gonna look up.
She made it like homemade, like a grandparents' recipe or something. So Marco, what's the info? My bad. Go ahead, Adam.
I'll just say coquito has rum and coconut milk and an eggnog in it.
Yes, yeah, because she made it like this time, like maybe December of last year. That's yeah. That shit was. She was like, "Yo, wait till you get home to drink this. Wait till you get home." Like, damn, okay. Oh man, you got some petroleum in here. What's the word on that? On them facts, Marco?
You need the history of it.
I'm just curious.
They
Like,
got a
was it
whole
traditionally
like
consumed
big
with
article
alcohol?
about it.
Was it like made? Okay.
No, go ahead.
I was just wondering. I guess my main question is like, is that how people traditionally drink it, with alcohol first?
Yeah.
Was it made for alcohol essentially? Okay.
Yes.
Damn.
Brandy, rum, whiskey, or bourbon.
Yeah, it's an English. It was an English drink originally, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
So not to stereotype them, but I know they like to drink over there.
I was trying to find like some further history, because a lot of times like they say stuff like that. It was actually from before that, like English, like they'll say like they made it popular or something like that. But it say like it was for the rich originally.
And then little like paupers like me came in and removed the alcohol from it, and just like, too cheap to buy the bourbon. Yeah, exactly. With like with like one shoe on and shit. You know? Anyway, some shit in my mind, you just like, whenever I tell people I like eggnog, the first thing they do is ask me what kind of alcohol do I mix in. I'm like, man, some shit you just don't ruin, man. You just don't. I don't have any other examples though of other shit that you don't ruin.
I thought you were talking about eggnog with alcohol at first.
Oh no,
me too. Yeah, because Southern Comfort, I know they
Yeah.
are alcoholic brand, so I figured. I just assumed alcohol was in it.
So you don't condone
it is
the alcoholic beverage
with eggnog? No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir.
Okay.
No, sir. I draw the line. I draw the line, son. None of that nonsense. I got the no nonsense rule when it when it comes to that, bro. No nonsense rule. God damn it.
Yeah, I don't really drink, and that's not true. I don't like do like hard liquor mixed drinks like that anymore. Not necessarily for any particular reason. I just kind of just faded away from it, I guess. I still drink beer though, but
me too. That's like my go-to typically.
Yeah,
I feel like is beer, man. It just helps me better understand. Like, it helps me better gauge my limit. Like the other shit just sneak up on you too much, man. And like, I like to drink things that taste good. Alcohol does not taste good. Like hard alcohol, it just doesn't. It's not pleasant to my taste bud. So I have to, like, when I used to drink soda and shit, I would just pour an obnoxious amount of root beer, root beer and some vodka, and I would drink it because it just tastes like root beer.
Okay, now root beer shouldn't be ruined by alcohol because root beer is a national treasure. But
fair enough.
I'm gonna be Josh for a few seconds. If Josh was here, he would say,
he's like,
yeah. No, as far as the hard liquor,
pushback on that.
The hard liquor, as far as the hard liquor goes, I know he would say you just need to have the right gin. Even though I've tried gin before, like, and I know like he would say the gin, like the common stuff you see at the store, it's Tanqueray, Seagram's, Bombay. Do Bombay make gin?
Yeah,
I don't know. Okay,
I think so.
New Amsterdam, like, I've tried that type of stuff, and it's terrible. I can't do it. But then I could say that about most hard liquors though. Like the only hard liquors that I could like drink without anything is whiskey and tequila. Those are the only two.
Bro,
that shit, man, that's impressive. Even the smell, one smell of that shit, and it's like I almost want to like Earl.
That's how I am with vodka. That's how I am with vodka.
Earl. Yeah, man, it's too much, Earl. Man.
Yeah. Hey, have y'all been to like? I'm sure y'all been to like some type of fancy restaurant before, but there
have we ever been?
Not a lot, but
I mean, that was just a weird transition. Like, I don't know how to ask y'all that, but their drinks like are on another level, man. Y'all, if y'all go somewhere fancy anytime soon, like,
Shit, I went
I know
somewhere
you're
yesterday,
saying
bro.
that their drinks are nasty, but I agree for the most part. But like, it's some real mixologists out here that know how to keep the same alcohol content and it tastes like a regular drink.
Well, I think that
Have
is
to check that out.
fair. I think okay, to your and Josh's point, because we know what Josh would say already.
Josh not even
we
here,
already
but
we
he got
already know what
points.
he would say.
Dang.
Yo, to my man's imaginary point. I obviously haven't tried a bunch, like for a large, I'm talking about probably 8 years now, or maybe even more. I haven't really consumed mixed drinks anymore. I've just been sticking to beer. So I'm sure they're in a certain situation when it's done right. I might be like, oh, this is right. Yo, this shit hits different for sure.
It's like scientific. Like they take it to like, oh, this is a cucumber extract and blah blah blah, like
Yeah.
dried
Yeah.
blood orange shavings and stuff like
Yeah,
that.
with the back leg of a beetle or some shit. Beetle.
With
It's
some
just the
type
hind
of
leg.
foam, like
Yeah.
a reduced.
Yo, let's talk about
Nitrogen.
wine though. What about? Yeah, we haven't talked about wine yet. Like, do
I
you
was
feel
just about
this? Because I asked that because Nat and I actually went to one of our favorite restaurants, which is like a nice restaurant, Italian. They closed down
Olive
for like
Garden?
a month or two. Hey, nah. Hey, shout out to Olive Garden though, for real. We grew up on that shit, and I will go back tomorrow. I'll go to this restaurant, and then I'll go to Olive Garden the next fucking day, and then get all you can eat salad and breadsticks, no problem.
Ain't no
But
shame.
yeah, no shame, man. But like this place, they're having like 20, it's like 20 something for a glass of wine, and then like 70 for a bottle or whatever. So not crazy, but like their
Yeah.
prices can get
It's crazy to
crazy.
me.
It's like
Yeah, but
authentic Italian, you know. I think it's like
the
family
fancy
owned.
restaurants I've been to at least have like $12 a glass type.
Oh no, they do. Yeah, they do.
Oh,
Just
you
don't
was just
fuck with
talking about the
them. Come
one
on,
y'all
man.
got. Y'all went.
Yeah, I mean they do.
Y'all
But
went
yo,
to.
I'm going to spend some money, man. When I got it.
Y'all got that
You know?
reserved barrel. That
Yeah.
good year.
Private stock.
Nah.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, right. Sipping on private stock. Yeah. No, it's actually every time I've gone there, I'm surprised at how low the bill was. Like I'm expecting to be like, oh shit, like prior to going, I'm like, okay, I actually got money in my account now. Yo, let's go out now. Let's go, let's go there now while I got the money. And then I'm surprised every time at how low the bill is. And like it's not like we held back. We had the appetizers, entrees, dessert, wine, all of that shit.
So when you
And,
say low, you speak like 175?
It was like 150
Okay.
before tip. I was surprised.
Yeah,
You know?
see, for me, like I'm not gonna say I'm cheap. I'm just cheap in certain sectors. Like for
feel
food, I'm
that.
cheap. Like, but like if when it comes to like, okay, let's take this vacation, then I'm like, I'm still not gonna go all out, but I'll do it though. Some people they're not even like, nah, I'm not into spending that type of money, for a trip. And for me, it's like I think it's worth it just because there isn't a trip that I've taken where I don't like think back on it and I'm fulfilled just off the memory alone. Like
Ooh, that's
man,
dope.
that was a really fun time. Or like me and Kirsten will just be up one night just talking about remember when we did the blah blah blah, and like that's always
Mhm.
that's always worth it.
Oh, bro,
but-
I agree.
And
I think-
I'm not saying real quick, I'm not saying a good dinner isn't, because you can have a memory from that too. But
Yeah,
it's just
for
everyone's different. So.
No, I'm trying to think. Actually, you pose a good question in my mind now. Like, am I situational? I guess it would be more situational, but for me, it's I think most often that I can recall, if I can get if I can have a total recall, about this, it's like, all right, I have this certain amount of money that I can spend and still be comfortable. And if we're gonna put it towards dinner, traveling, or whatever, now's the time. Like, let's plan it when I know I got these funds that I can like growing up, my grandfather always would be like, only loan out as much money as you can afford to lose and not get back.
Yeah.
So like, it's like, okay, I got this. If we plan on traveling, I'm having this specific amount of like, and I know I want to do it in quote unquote style, then it's like, all right, I have this amount of money. If we can go all out, then let's do it now, But but this particular restaurant, I'll go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, I didn't mean to cut you off. I thought you was.
So this particular restaurant was one that her and I have been going to for anniversaries for the last few years, and like other things. But it was like, so it meant a little more, and they had closed down for several months, and we thought they were closed for good, and then they reopened under a new name. So I'm like, didn't seem like nobody died. Are y'all just on some mob shit and you're just trying to like launder money? You just have to change the name because the FBI was catching on.
Rebranding. Sometimes people rebrand, and like we see it all the time. Like, it's not always obvious, but like a company will change the name of a product. It's the same product, but they'll just change the name of it, and then it'll sell. And just because they change the name and people think it's something different, it's like the same thing.
Hey, I got a question for y'all too. Speaking of that, like, maybe this is silly, but I've gone to several different really good Italian restaurants in Rome, in Atlanta, that are apparently like from an Italian family owned, marketed as authentic Italian. And then other places in Atlanta that are like super expensive, considered Italian, like actual Italian, And then in Italy, we've gone to like really expensive, but also on the cheaper side, Italian as well. So having these different experiences, do you feel like there are certain staples that if you call yourself an Italian restaurant, French restaurant, whatever restaurant, you should have these specific staples, if they're classic, on the menu? Everyone should have your different version of it or whatever. But if this is one that people know as classic, you should have it on the fucking menu.
Yeah. Did you experience that, them not having something?
Well, so this place that we go to, I've always wondered why they don't have this particular dish called cacio e pepe. I believe that's how you say it. It's like a really good, just cheesy noodle dish. It's just like but it's not as like, the noodles are more, it's like salt, pepper, cheese, and really good fine noodles, but it's not like Alfredo sauce where it's like drenched in, you know what I'm saying? It's more oil and vinegar, but then salt and pepper, but like it's just done right. And to me, I've known that it's like a classic. Mind you, I'm not Italian. I don't know. Like, I can't just be speaking like I know all these facts, but I feel like that's more of a classic dish. I've had it in Italy in a nice restaurant. I've had it in Italy in like the cheap fast food restaurant, and it was still bomb. Maybe because you were in Italy, but this particular place, I've always wondered why they don't have that one dish on there. They obviously, it's their own restaurant and they're private. Like, they can just maybe decide to just switch it up and do different things. They want to like focus on other delicacies, but certain things I'd like maybe it's just me. It's like, if I know I love this dish, I'd like to try it in a bunch of different places.
Yeah.
I would say this. I don't know this to be true, but my theory though is I mean, obviously whoever the chef is of that restaurant, the owner or whatever, maybe they just like, I don't like that dish. And it's just like a personal like, and it can be as simple as that, or it could just be like, I know now you said this restaurant is run by Italians, right?
Yeah, actually, the owner walks around and like greets everybody. He's an old Italian dude. He's always going around to your table, like giving roses to the women and shit.
So I was gonna say sometimes there is a slight disconnect. And when I say disconnect, I don't even mean in a negative way. It's just purely like, okay, he's Italian, but maybe he wasn't raised in Italy. Maybe he was. I don't know. But I'm basing this off of like when I was in Korea. You could go to a Korean restaurant and it will be traditional Korean food. But then you can go to another Korean restaurant and it might be more Americanized Korean food. And they don't have the same dishes that traditional Korean, but it's still ran by Koreans. But maybe it's a younger Korean, maybe they're trying to pull in the foreigner crowd. It just depends on what the goal is of the restaurant owner. They might just be like,
Yeah,
or I've even gone to restaurants where it's the same dish, but they're cooked different. Like there's a dish called bulgogi in Korea where it's like it's typically beef, but it can be chicken, it can be pork. It's just bat and some rice, and it's a very common meal. But there's other restaurants that sells it, and it feels like more Americanized, where it's just like white rice, the meat and sauce, and it's just dumped in a container. But if you go to a traditional restaurant, it'll be more like a stew almost. Like it's like the beef will be like in like a pot, and it's like kind of like a stew, and it's cooked completely different. But it's supposedly it's called the same thing. And like, but I like the Americanized version. To me, is way better. So it's just.
But at least they have that classic dish available in some form or fashion.
Oh yeah,
they just have their take on it. Yeah.
Now, if I was to go to a Korean restaurant in America, who knows? I've never been to a Korean restaurant in America, so
That's
I don't
fair.
even know what to. It'd be cool to just go to though and see and compare.
Yeah,
that's interesting, man. Because I like Adam said, like some people want to put their twist on it, and even though they are traditional, whatever, Italian or whatever, they still trying to put their little flavor on it, and I want to put a spin on this traditional dish type thing.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah, I think I was definitely a little biased, just like, yo, I want you to have this fucking classic dish that I absolutely love, of course. On the other hand, it's very interesting because I'll compare like a homemade sauce from like a family member who made like some homemade sauce and it makes like a spaghetti, like something simple, right? Like a spaghetti or a pasta. And then, we went to Italy. I was like, all right, I want to taste their pasta. And like, I'm expecting it to be better because I'm in Italy. But at the same time, your family member who doesn't have any Italian lineage could make a homemade dope ass dish, So it's like these ideas are going in. It's like, it's got to be the greatest because I'm in Italy and shit. But,
Yeah, to take it back to Korea, like I always do, is I didn't
realize, take us back to the 992.
Like I didn't realize fried chicken was such a huge thing over there. It turns out they're pretty awesome at frying chicken. In America, you would think, okay, well, that's a traditionally soul food black dish, for reasons. I don't need to go into why it existed, but it's just a traditionally, is a black staple, for whatever reason. So I went over there to Korea and like, so fried chicken, like this probably ain't gonna be that great, It's the best chicken I've ever had. Like Korean fried chicken is the best chicken I've ever had. So
wait, you can certify that statement right there, here and now. Solidify.
I've heard that before.
Damn.
Yeah, because
I've heard that before.
Like, hands down, really. And this like chicken place is like everywhere, like chicken and beer. It's like that's kind of how it's marketed. It's chicken and beer, which is funny.
Okay, I have a question. Okay, can I quickly ask a question about that? Because you hear about Asian cultures being so what is the word? Caught up in like black culture. Isn't that a thing? Like in certain places in Asia, like you hear about like them, like specific cult or specific type of people are like pretty much completely caught up in that hip hop culture. Do you think the whole chicken and beer thing comes from that, or like, or they were genuinely like who did it first? Who wore it? Who did it first?
Honestly, I don't think that chicken is really a black thing. So
I don't think it is anymore. Yeah, definitely not anymore. But like fried chicken, definitely like it existed because of slavery, and I don't need to go down that path, but. Of course, fast forward 400 years. I don't
like. I know what you were saying, but I don't think fried chicken. I believe that soul food came after people like fried chicken. Like people, I believe people been frying chicken for a very, very long time.
Yeah, they have. But I was under the impression, I could be completely wrong, and I would love to get to the origin of this, but I was under the impression that it only existed because they didn't really have anything else, and obviously chicken being super cheap and available. I thought that in frying it was a pretty easy method, but like I said, I really don't know. I was just always under the impression that that's where it started. But
I thought it was just part of like them getting the last bits of everything, like the cheap, unwanted bits of everything, and them just putting it to good use.
I mean, I've definitely obviously heard of that about food, soul food in general. But
But that's a
do some
good point though,
research on it,
Marcus.
'cause
That's a
I
good
don't
point
think.
though. I mean,
But as far as
I-
the fried chicken aspect goes, like, let's say this then, like, I don't know, maybe I don't know the origin story like I thought I did, but
yeah, that's besides the point, I guess.
but I'm gonna say this stereotypically though, in America,
oh, for sure.
Yeah,
people assume fried chicken equals black people.
yeah.
But
For
even though
sure.
we know that everybody eats fried chicken.
That's what's so crazy. When I was like, when I realized that, I'm like, oh, everybody loves chicken
Yeah,
and fried chicken.
it's really
so
good.
yeah, we definitely grew up with that, like thinking that, like, oh, that's a black people thing.
Yeah.
Don't know till you know, man.
Yeah, I thought it was, and then I left the state of Indiana, went to South Carolina, went to Florida. Like, oh, okay, went to Korea.
Yeah.
Like, oh, everybody eats this stuff.
What did Maya Angelou say? When you know better, you do better. Something like that. Bars. Hey, I'm gonna just sprinkle out a couple bars here and there throughout the episode. That was a good point though.
Food is interesting though, man. Like,
So
when you
they
think about-
said, my
Oh,
bad.
go ahead. No, you go ahead.
Like, as far as the fried debate goes, they said the first dish known to have been deep fried was fritters in Europe in the Middle Ages.
Okay.
But it
I could
said,
see that.
however, it was the Scottish who were the first Europeans. I don't know why they say first Europe. I'm not asking about first Europeans, but they said they were the first to deep fry their chicken in fat.
Scottish?
Meanwhile, many West African people had traditions of of seasoned fried chicken. It's
added
funny they
seasoning.
say, like, because they say like the Europeans didn't fry their chicken. It says in parentheses, like, though without seasoning, like they
That's
fried their chicken
hilarious.
without seasoning.
Straight oil.
That's
just-
funny.
Yeah.
That confirms all
That is great.
all
yo.
stereotypes.
Okay,
Yo,
so
speaking
yeah.
of other random shit. No, go ahead.
No, I'll say, okay, so go back to my point. So black people started seasoning their chicken first.
Hell yeah.
Just kidding. No, you go ahead.
That's very interesting. That's
Yeah.
That's it. So I don't know. I don't know if the enslaved Africans showed them, and then they just said, like, yeah, we we fry chicken. So I don't know.
Yeah,
So wait, which one
We
was
need
the
a
Middle Ages?
documentary about that.
Because the Middle Ages is fucking way
Yeah.
like when Middle Ages is like
that's good.
way back, bro. Way
Yeah.
back.
What,
So if they were
back in the time.
if they were deep frying, I mean, well, I could see the fritter argument with them because like they also didn't have shit. If you weren't the king or the king's men or whatever, everybody was probably just eating fritters and shit. Anything they could put together, like
Yeah, that's a long
vegetables and shit and batter. It just like that's Stonehenge type shit.
I
they-
just assume like frying stuff been around for a very long, very, very long time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I assume about 400 or 500 years, but I just looked up the Middle Age time period. They said from like year 500 to 1500.
That's
So
why I'm like, yeah, that's just before us. Yeah, that's like way before we.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
well
medieval.
before. That was well
Type
before.
of stuff.
I wouldn't say well before, but some of that time period was well before American slavery,
Mhm.
like
Mhm.
North American slavery.
Yeah, that shit.
Obviously, the 1500s starts kind of like the beginning of that time period, but
Mhm.
Iron Age and that type of stuff.
Yeah. Yo, so another random
When
crazy ass thing. Did y'all know that Greenland actually has more ice or either ice and snow and
Then Iceland.
yeah, it's
in
backwards.
Iceland? Isn't that wild?
Yeah.
That was new to me, by the way. I literally learned that last week.
Yeah, it's just like Iceland has more green, and then Greenland has more ice.
I always
All right,
wondered
now,
about
the obvious
those
question
areas.
is which one you trying to go to or both?
Iceland.
Yeah, I'm
That's
trying to
been-
go to
that's-
Iceland to get that fresh water.
That's on my top 5 list for years. My sister actually went there this summer. Over the summer, she went there.
Oh, that's
They-
dope.
They had this deal where it was $1,000 only from certain airports, or it was $1,000 for flight and a 5-day 5 or 6 day hotel. Yeah. Yeah.
I could
From-
I could do that. Shit.
Yeah. And it was only from like a few airports in the States. She lives in Colorado, and I think the closest airport to her is Denver.
Mhm.
So yeah, she just like, well, I mean, because she was saying she had no interest in going to Iceland ever. But then when she saw that deal, like, well, I mean,
Yeah.
and she was
You
already
bound to
planning
find
on
something you like.
yeah, and she was already planning on taking the trip. So it wasn't like she just was like, let me just spend this money just because. So she was already planning on going somewhere.
That's
So-
kind of cool.
Yeah.
Dude,
So
are
I'm
you
sure-
like that would be man, that in Norway. I definitely want to go to Norway sometime
Yeah,
as well.
Definitely.
Yeah. That whole Scandinavian region seems like it would be cool to go
Yo,
to, like
Wanna
up in
go
the
to
mountains and stuff.
Netherlands, man.
Adam, the kind of pictures you could take, bro.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Those like just long, windy roads and
Yeah. Yeah. It
my
looks
goodness.
epic. Like from the pictures I've seen and videos online, it looks like almost otherworldly almost. Like,
Yeah. And that one, like what is it called? Everybody likes to go in that pool, that like blue.
And
Is it in Iceland? Or is it
yeah,
Norway?
I know you're talking about the
It does
Blue
something to you. It's like
Lagoon.
healthy. Blue Lagoon. It's like healthy for your body.
yeah, I know
I'm
you're
pretty
talking about.
sure. Yeah, like it's like certain properties and shit. It's dope, dude. Just like the juxtaposition of colors and stuff there. Like the clash is incredible, man. Those are
Yeah.
some
Yeah.
dope places, yeah.
I saw this thing in the news recently where this diver found like a Crusader sword
Damn.
from like
Damn, okay.
900 years ago, and it was covered with like barnacles and all that type of stuff. But
Yeah, rust and stuff.
yeah, so
Damn.
that was pretty dope, man. It's like
That's cool though. You can sell that to a museum though, if you wanted to.
I was about to say, like,
or keep it.
can we estimate how much that thing's going for? I mean,
I don't know, man.
like,
It's a lot of history.
Definitely at least 6 figures. I mean, minimum, if not 7.
yeah, with the barnacles. With the barnacles on it. Barnacle is such a funny word. By the way.
I just think of SpongeBob.
Yeah,
That's the only thing I can think of.
I think of Barnum and Bailey.
barnacles.
Barnum and Bailey's circus. Man. Yo, did y'all ever go? Barnum and Bailey circus?
Pretty sure we went with
A
school.
while with school, right?
Yeah, we took a field trip. I don't know if it
Yeah.
was them or what's the other big circus?
Universal Circus.
Oh, okay,
Oh.
not them. It must have been the other one then, because it was
Barnum
like a
and Bailey.
3 ring,
Three-ring circus.
Didn't they
Yeah.
stop that? Like they shut down that circus or whatever?
I think part of it, I think they
Have no
heard
idea.
that they were like treating the animals a little harsh. I think that might have been part of it. They weren't managing the animals well.
I can believe that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they shut that one down.
Dude, they were like touring at one point. They were big.
Well, yeah, they were, I
Huge.
believe them.
They're
They were
national.
the biggest, like
Yeah.
the biggest.
Man. I guess when you get that big, it's just like, yo, the elephant ain't got to eat today. Just put his ass back. We got an early show tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, damn, come on, son.
Yeah.
Come on. That's dude.
Yeah.
The other day I saw some Atlanta officers riding horses through the street. I'm just like, why?
So unnecessary.
I don't understand why they need to be riding through if some shit really did pop off, you can shoot through a police car and it doesn't hurt the car. Yeah, it's been like, but you killing the fucking horse. If it's in a shootout, you're killing the horse. If it's in an accident or a shootout, you're killing the horse. And when
Is it
shit
a
gets
style
lit,
thing?
when
Is it
shit- I'm like, what the fuck are you doing?
I think it's kind of just a tradition. Like, I think that's probably what they used to do, obviously, before cars. And then like, oh, we're gonna keep this for nostalgia.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's why. I saw cops in Chicago yesterday on bicycles. Like, okay,
Yeah.
I feel like there's no way that they want to do that because they probably, man, ain't nobody
No
taking us
way.
serious.
No way. But I'd rather them buy a new fucking inner tube than a fucking, you know what I'm saying? Than a fucking new horse, dude.
Horseshoes.
Every Friday I drive past that like the stable where they're at. Like at least their outdoor one, and it's a good amount of land for that many horses. So like I feel good about that. It's cool. And I'm not some like I'm not the head of some animal rights activist organization. You know what I'm saying? I just feel like it's unnecessary, dog. I don't understand what's the point? You other than riding in style. You walk
They
past
hi-
bitches.
they
You
hiring-
walk past bitches who want to come touch the horse. It's like, oh,
Yeah, hop on.
It's just like what? How good could you be if some shit really did pop off? Are you just gonna, if the person's running on the street away from you, are you gonna just start? Are you gonna jump the horse in the sidewalk and like start running people over while you're chasing this person? What the fuck?
Maybe
It makes
that's
no
it.
sense to me.
I think they hiring so many police officers that they running out of transportation for them. They might be on scooters. They might be
Oh my gosh, dude.
unicycles and stuff.
Old Town Road Patrol.
Yeah, yeah, dude. Hey, do they
Camera
ride it?
system.
I think I've even seen security guards like with actual guns and shit on segways. They got segways in Chicago. Like how fast could that go? Like
they're pretty. I rode a Segway before. They're pretty quick, and the way they work is the way the speed work. It works on your balance. So like if you tilt forward, it'll go faster, and if you tilt backwards, it will slow down. So it's kind of cool. In that way.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah.
But like efficiency wise, if all I got to do is run down the stairs.
Oh yeah.
That's all. I'm looking for stairs immediately.
They're like, should I leave my vehicle here and chase them?
Yeah, right.
My bad. Just be at the top of the stairs, like,
Yeah, no.
get back
Or
here.
if it's a horse, I'm just getting in some water or something. I'm just getting some deep water, and the horse is like, fuck.
I don't know, man. They might be able to
Have y'all
swim.
horses? Yeah, they can swim.
Yeah,
What?
Have y'all seen that? Have y'all? Yeah, they
Bruh.
can swim.
you got to
Have
watch
y'all
a
seen-
western, bro, where they cross the rivers.
I know they crossed it, but swimming? Okay, I guess they're doggy paddling.
Yeah.
Across.
Yeah,
They're not
okay.
they're not underwater like.
But I can't. No, of course. He just turned into an
Breaststroke.
animatronic being. I just always felt like if it's too deep, the horse would be too scared to keep
Yeah,
going.
I'm sure there's some horses out there that don't mess with water like that, but
Yeah, yeah, sure. Yeah, they
sure
got
that-
preferences. They got rights.
yeah, just like people.
Not my horse.
Or there's some dogs who don't like water, and then there's other dogs who jump right in the water. So
Yeah.
True.
so no. Have y'all
My
seen
bad,
a
go
video?
ahead, though.
Have y'all seen a video? It's like it was surveillance, but of like a courtroom, and this guy was running away from like cops, and then he's running through the courtroom. Then it switches the camera to like some back room, and he goes down the stairs, and the cops are like really trying to get this guy, and when one of the cops just dives over the banister down to the to the stairwell.
Gosh.
I'll send it to you. It's hilarious. And then there's another cop who's like, I guess he's got like a bad leg or whatever. So he's trying to take one step at a time. And then all the other cops are well gone, but he's still in the fight. So he's like, I'm gonna.
They're like, we being recorded. We gotta show some action.
Yeah.
Our job is on the line here.
It's kind of like
For
the
real.
athlete. It's like the athlete that's playing hurt when you know he should not be playing hurt. Like, dude, if you don't just sit down somewhere.
I hate when they do that, man.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you have bench players? Like, I'm sure
Yeah.
they can do a better job at what you're doing.
Yeah.
Like that's
I don't Yeah, I don't know if y'all been paying attention to this season or not, but Mayfield from the Browns, like he's been playing with this shoulder, and it's like every game it's been like popping out of the socket. I'm like, and then eventually he tore his labrum last week. It's a shoulder. I don't know where the labrum is on the shoulder, but he tore it, so now he's out like for good now. But I'm like, dude, you should have just sat out weeks ago because you kept his shoulder kept popping out of the socket in the game, and then kept popping it back in. I'm like,
that's an injury that'll never heal if you.
yeah, you're doing more harm than good at that point.
There's gonna be some memes of him running off the field, like shaking his arm with his arm dangling and shit, trying to get it popped back in.
Yeah,
and then sometimes the commentators will be like, "Oh, he's showing so much courage and blah blah." Like they hyping him up, but yeah, that's not good. Like
he ain't gonna be able to hold his child in a couple of years with that arm, right?
Yeah. So now he's out. He needs surgery, and now their season is probably done. So, yeah.
Man,
even though they did win last week with the backup, but we'll see.
All right. So who man, I gotta be honest, I have not been keeping up, but who is kicking butt this
And
season?
The Packers, man.
Man, F them. There's
I just had to bring them up because I can't bring up my team. So
man, honestly, the NFL these days is so entertaining. Like I feel like it's the best now than it ever was because you have so many young quarterbacks now that are just like you got Lamar Jackson, Patrick Mahomes is kind of iffy these days.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Is he the Kansas City Chiefs?
Yeah, he's already thrown 8 picks, which is unheard of for him.
I mean,
but he's still good. Though. I'm not gonna say like he's not.
I don't think he's ever had a bad. You got to give him one season.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's why it's so alarming because he's essentially from day one of him starting, he's been dominant, and now that he's having a little bit of struggles, it's like everyone's freaking out, myself included. But yeah, it's a lot of young guys like those 2 guys, Josh Allen. Kyler Murray, Justin Herbert from the Chargers. I mean, it's so many. Like, it's like I think like in like 3-4 years, I think every team is gonna have a good quarterback. It's just like that's where we're going. We're like typically you have like those top 5 elite guys, then you have the 10 like pretty good guys, and then you have average, and you have the terrible. I feel like in like 5 years, everybody's gonna have a
mature.
Everybody's quarterback is going to be like 80 or higher on Madden. That's where that's what it looks like because it's just getting to that point where like, man, like everybody's good now. We're getting there. I'm hoping the Bears quarterback, pans out with Justin Fields. He's definitely showed promise, but he's definitely not there yet. But he's made some impressive throws though.
Yeah. Now a lot of times, I don't know if it's like the Bears coaching, that's making them look like quarterbacks look bad.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. Like, I never know. Like, it's just hard to pinpoint. Like, is it the coaching? Is it the players? Because like they'll have a game where they look decent. Like, but damn, was it because the team they played was bad or what? It's so hard to really analyze that team. It's like I don't know.
Well, if Marcus said he can't talk about his team, then I can't talk about the coach either. Then I haven't even like been keeping up, but he's pretty much just told me all I need to hear. He told me all I need to hear, bro. I don't even know who the quarterback is for the Colts anymore.
Hey, Marcus, you muted.
My bad.
No, you good.
Yeah, they not doing nothing, man. Today's quarterback is Carson Wentz.
Yeah. I thought they were going to be good this year. I was like, yeah, I thought Carson Wentz was going to have like a bounce back. And I don't even know how he was playing, to be honest. But yeah, I'm a little surprised at the Colts, honestly.
They had a good game against the Texans, but that's about it. And our Ty Hilton keep getting injured like all the time. So he started the season injured, or didn't start the season rather.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Are you fine? Are we fine?
That's like our best player. Literally.
Yeah. I wonder what the stats are on this. Obviously, I haven't kept up well enough, but over the years, let's say since we first started like being into watching football, which what I'm saying was years ago. I mean, even in like middle school and shit, we was watching football heavy. Do you find that like people were getting injured more then or now? With like padding, like with things evolving and with like just technology with health regulations and everything evolving. Are people getting injured more now or back then?
That's a good question.
Like over time, are we seeing any improvements?
Well, they've tried to make efforts to make it safer, quote unquote, or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I believe they like took away preseason games. But what's crazy about that is like, what obviously is up to the players and the coaching staff to have their players ready. But if you're not in shape, you're gonna get injured more.
Yeah.
So it's like,
it's definitely an individual responsibility too.
Yeah. And as far as like making the game safer, I don't think they can do much more except like the pads and that type of stuff and the helmets. is to like try to innovate with that technology.
Yeah.
But as far as the actual game, like the nature of it is violent. So
Yep.
True,
Yeah.
man.
to me, I would just say it's been the same. You know.
Yeah. I would say so too. It seems like to me, it seems like more high profile players are getting injured though.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that's never happened before, but at least this season, I would say it feels like more high in last season. I feel like more high profile players got injured like early. It sucks because everybody wants to see their favorite players on the field and not the third
Absolutely.
string. But
it makes it more watchable. Like, you know what I'm saying?
yeah,
In a way, anyway.
and then you add the pandemic thing because you have players that will or and coaches that'll get COVID or you just be around somebody with COVID and that'll cause them not being able to play. So it just adds a whole crazy dynamic. And you could say that kind of unfortunately you can say that adds to the excitement of the season. Like who's gonna like what team is gonna beat like COVID, like what team is gonna avoid COVID, because it's a real thing.
It's like
Who's
the
better to win that?
NBA bubble. Like
Yeah.
a lot of people don't think that was like a legit season, but I mean the
They got to
Lakers
do
had to
another
go through a
draft.
lot to
They got to do that COVID draft. Who got that top pick? Yeah.
I mean, you can honestly say that when it comes to playoff football, it's like whatever team is the healthiest, it seems like they're the ones that win. And it's like, but that's not taken from them because that's still part of the game is
exactly
overcoming injuries and
that's why the Patriots been so good, like because I don't know about this season, but they've been able to just like kind of plug and play players like, okay, they gone like next person up and they effective.
Yep.
So they don't necessarily rely on the big stars 100%, except, Tom Brady, but Tom Brady had never had a significant injury just because
just
of
that one season. That one season.
Yeah, except for one season he hurt his leg, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
He tore his ACL or MCL in like the first game, like 2007.
Yeah. But he was fined? I don't know. It was some year he was fined too, but that wasn't a health thing. But anyway, he's been like a mastermind of not being touched in this game.
Yeah.
Like he's arguably the greatest ever. So, but it seemed like everybody deal with them injuries and stuff.
Yeah.
I was wondering too, like I heard I think he was being interviewed by Oprah one time and he was just talking about like his regimen and like how serious he is about his own health. And I'm just like, maybe when he goes to certain teams, he just encourages other players to step up or vice versa or whatever. Like they all learn from one another and maybe just kind of like certain players who expect a certain standard, like Jordan expected a certain standard, can maybe elevate a team or other players to up their own personal regimens to stay healthy and be able to play longer and at a more an effective pace,
But some people just built different, man. Like,
yeah,
I don't believe Jordan ever had significant injuries.
No, just early on he did.
True.
He broke his foot.
Yeah,
I think in like his second season, but after that he never.
Yeah.
Because he had that trainer that he had like this infamous trainer that everybody wanted. I forgot what his name was, but I think that helped too. Because it's like I don't know what his name was, but I know he had a trainer that everybody like. And I guess Jordan was the rumor was like he was paying the trainer not to train anyone else. So like because he was that good.
Oh damn. Okay.
Yeah.
Didn't know that.
Yeah.
Also, Tom Brady has his own. You kind of mentioned it. He has his own regimen, and he got a whole book about like, I believe it's called TB12 or something. And like, I don't know if he made it just because he's been like had longevity and rarely hurt, or the regimen is what helped him do it. You know what I mean?
Mm. Yeah.
Like,
did
he make the book just to say, hey, like, look at me, I've been healthy, or it was the regimen like making it work? But like I said, some people are just built different, man.
Yeah.
Like some people are injury prone. Like
Yep.
it's just a real thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, that
That's
makes
true.
sense.
Like
yeah.
perfect example. I know you don't want to hear this, Marcus or Aaron, but Carson Wentz is kind of injury prone.
Yeah.
I've even nicknamed him Carson Wentz in pain because he's always hurt. It sucks that hasn't caught on, but I'll mention it in like in like social media, like sports pages. Like if he's the topic, and I'm like, man, like that's a great. I'm sorry, man, but that's a great nickname for a guy.
Yeah,
that's
he
injury
actually. Besides that, he actually not that bad.
Yeah,
Except
he's a good
for
quarterback.
that I don't know. He just not have that winning fire. I don't know. I don't.
He
know
doesn't
if
have
has
that tenacity. He lacks the
Yeah,
tenacity.
but like his numbers, I believe he's always threw many more touchdowns than interceptions throughout his
Yeah.
whole career. So
Yeah.
his numbers are legit. It's just like that injury thing, man.
Yeah. Now he did
Like-
have that. You go ahead.
I was gonna mention Derrick Rose, but
Oh.
y'all know his story.
Yeah. Yeah.
that was so heartbreaking, dude.
Yeah. I mean, he still had a good career, even given the fact that he's been injured. You could say that he's of course he didn't blossom into like the superstar that he could have been, but like as far as being like a solid role player, he's been that.
Oh yeah,
for years. So I mean,
yeah,
I'll give him that.
Yeah, he's still having a very good career, in my opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
If these teams will just stop trading him, so much.
Yeah. I mean, it's so sad to see good players get injured, like have injury issues. I mean, you see it like Grant Hill. Grant Hill was like that.
Penny Hardaway.
Penny Hardaway. Trying to think.
Man, I hate that.
What are some football players that were super?
Well, Calvin Johnson. I mean,
okay.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Even though I forget how many years he played, he still was
7.
like saying like he was dying, like he was. You know, when a person is that big and takes so many hits constantly.
Yeah. What's the one dude name from 76ers? Embiid. He's injured a lot too.
Yeah.
Joel Embiid. And he's good, but
yeah, he is.
He's a big
MVP
dude.
caliber.
Yeah, that's a big dude.
We gotta talk about Ben Simmons one day, man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's an interesting situation.
I feel like nowadays athletes in general are coming in with more of a business, maybe not coming in with the more business sense, but isn't the NBA or the NFL working with them with the business sense? Because you got to be able to like get your shit right while you're in the league. So when you leave for these injuries and shit, you're not just flat broke, man.
But you know what? Now, like we could get into the Ben Simmons thing later, but now like the teams are calling their bluff. Like, look, you not as irreplaceable as you think, and they not gonna pay him because like he got a lot of money on the table, and he's doing silly stuff, and these teams are not taking it no more. Like, there's enough talent going around where we not gonna pay this guy who doesn't want to shoot. You a basketball player and you don't want to shoot. And you think you can hold out, like we not gonna tolerate you holding out.
Yeah, the Ben Simmons situation is a little iffy for me, and I agree with the like. I mean, he's not a good free throw shooter, or not anymore. At least I don't know what.
Damn,
changed,
what isn't he a shooting guard?
He's a point guard.
No, he's a point guard.
Somehow he's 6'10", but he's a point guard. I don't really don't get
to me,
that,
he's not a point guard.
Yeah,
but he's very good at ball handling.
Yeah, I think they try to call him like a point forward. It's kind of like he's kind of like a hybrid guard forward.
Yeah,
but it's like, so that situation, like he is the reason they lost that series. What was it against the Hawks? Was that it? Pretty sure.
I don't even remember who. I
think it was Hawks. Everyone was like, "How'd you lose? Like you're the first number 1 seed, losing to like the number 4 or 5 seed." But
he took 2 shots out of, I believe, 5 games, bro. Like you took 2 shots and you made them. That's the thing. He's like he's a curious case. Like,
Yeah,
what's
I don't
going
get
on
it.
with this?
He's scared to shoot because he doesn't want to miss because if people are gonna make fun of him online, that's his whole thing. But it's like
Wait,
the thing-
seriously?
Yeah, it was against the Hawks.
He's a
When he
professional
passed,
player who's afraid to shoot because oh my gosh.
yeah. So like he okay. So the issue was in this game was he could have dunked, like he had an opportunity to dunk and go up by a point.
game
but
winning.
Instead he passed the ball or something, right?
Yeah,
And then,
he got like right under the hoop and did
Yeah.
like a shovel pass to somebody else.
yeah. When he could have just dunked it and probably won the game. I mean, you never know, but instead he passed it, and I think the guy got fouled, and the guy ended up just shooting. He made 1 or 2 free throws, whoever he passed it to, and that's kind of was the turning point. At least according to Joel Embiid, he said that was the turning point of the game, and he said this at a press conference, kind of like throwing Ben under the bus. And then his coach, Doc Rivers, they asked Doc Rivers, "Do you think you can win a championship with Ben Simmons as your point guard?" And he didn't flat out say no, but
He was like, we don't know.
yeah, he said, "I don't know." When he could have just said, "Of course," and he could have left it at that. And even if he didn't believe that, I feel like he could have said, "Of course we can." Next question. That's what he should have said.
Everybody been being honest around the situation, and
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, they play like Philadelphia is a place where they're gonna call you out for your BS in their sports
Especially the
world.
fans. Yeah.
So for him, I think everybody just being pretty professional about it because they could be like tearing them up right now.
Yeah.
As far as the people on the team.
Yeah,
because
they are
they're
now.
like, oh, that's our brother. We still support him and stuff like that.
Yeah.
When I don't know. I don't know if I would have been able to keep it together like that. Like,
yeah,
they just telling the truth, but I don't know.
I mean, I feel like with these type of antics have happened back in like Jordan era. Back when like the Knicks were killing and the Pistons and shit.
They did happen. It was just like we
had type of
Pippen.
antics.
Yeah, Pippen, like he was
That's
like,
true. Oh yeah, that's true.
He could have waited after the season to get surgery, but because they wouldn't pay him, he was like, okay, I'll get surgery now. And then he missed like most of the season.
Yeah,
true. So people have always done that, and I don't necessarily disagree with it, depending on the situation. Like, I think you should always look out for yourself first. And I know people might disagree if you're on a team sport, but at the end of the day, though, when you're retired and all that, whatever your financial situation is, your team has nothing to do with that. Like, that's
I agree, man. I agree.
But
I hope they invest it well or something. I just wonder what a lot of these athletes who are just big. I mean, you have that whole identity of I'm an athlete, especially if you're a star and shit. And then when you're done, you're done. Like, what are you doing? Like, I guess it's family time and whatnot, but like you're not active to the same degree. Maybe you're not even capable of being active from whatever injuries to the same degree. So like, I wonder what a lot of them are doing, spending their time like maybe starting up painting, like maybe starting an arts or a certain craft that they like that we didn't know about, working on cars or some shit. Who knows?
It's funny that you brought that up because a bunch of NBA players just got in trouble for exploiting the NBA's retirement plan. I don't know the specific.
It was a medical insurance. It's medical insurance fraud is what it was.
Right, a medical insurance fraud, and like I believe like Shannon Brown and some other guys.
Yeah, it's a lot of names, a lot of like well-known names on that list.
Medical insurance fraud. Holy shit. Okay.
Yeah, so essentially what they were doing was, I think they were like, go to a doctor, say they have some type of condition that they really didn't have. Honestly, I'm not even sure how it works because
I didn't even look into it. I'm just like, dang, like
they
didn't manage their money correctly.
I guess it's like you could go and say I have this issue, and you can say, I guess you have to send like a request to get something approved, and they were faking things and getting it approved, and they would get the money from it even though they didn't have the condition.
Right. So basically, acting like they went through the medical procedures and just collected the money as if they paid for it, maybe.
Yeah.
And the doctor was like, look, I'm gonna sign off on this shit.
but
you know what to do. I told you my son needs this fucking trip. We talked about it now. My son needs this trip. You break me off a little bit of that.
And the doctors, like, it doesn't affect the doctors because they're gonna get their money no matter what. So they're like, well, whatever. Hopefully you're telling the truth, but if you're not, it doesn't affect me.
That's not their job to look into to stuff like that, probably.
God damn, man. And it's like, I mean, people on it in general do shit like that around money. It makes you do some wild shit, but especially on their level when you're like making that much money and then you find yourself and you just haven't managed it well for whatever reason. I mean, you hear a lot of businesses fail and then they finally have a successful one after the 10th or 12th one or whatever. So everybody's taking risks to some degree, but it's like when you hear that somebody took all these risks and it didn't work out, it's like, damn, man.
You know, though, not to like excuse what they did, but for a long time, the NFL and the NBA players haven't had a good plan as far as retirement and especially medical side of things, what they can do financially after playing sports, and especially back years ago, because they didn't get paid as much as they get paid now. Like now
it's insane,
astronomical. Like a role player could get like over 50,000 easily.
Yeah, well, in the NBA,
I mean 50 million.
Yeah, I'm about to say, and because Ben Simmons, he's making 33 million a year, and he can't shoot free throws. So I'm like, in football though, 33 million, that's quarterback money. like you have to lead a team to the playoffs every year to make that in the NFL, and you're putting your body at much more risk.
Yeah. But what I was saying is like they just recently gained a little more ground as far as the player unions and stuff.
Yeah.
What type of retirement setups they get, because especially NFL, like they didn't really care what happened after you play. Like you could have, and now they finding about all the CT and After Effects, and now they're taking a little more serious. But like that's just one aspect, like the medical side of it. But it's been notorious that they haven't fared well after being in the league. And
dude,
a certain percentage of it is money management, but at the same time, there was a lot of things internally that I feel like they had to straighten out with that.
Yeah, it's like getting a divorce. It's like, yo, I'm used to making this much money. Now, when I'm retired, you mean tell me I get nothing, but my wife is $120,000 a week?
Yeah, personally, I think it's like being in the military. Like everybody should be set, man. Like you serve the country and you sacrifice your body and your time and all of that. Like you should be compensated, and you shouldn't have to worry about medical stuff. Like
I agree with that.
Yeah, for real.
I agree. But here's the thing: a lot of companies say that,
stuff on the news, like how a lot of vets are struggling, man.
Yeah, that's true.
True. Now, here's a question: do you think that should happen across? Maybe not all across the board, but like, let's say somebody works at the steel mill for 50 years, 50, 60 years, something like that. Probably 50 years is more 40 or 50 years is more
like
reasonable
30
because
pretty
now, yeah, because they have the you're right, Adam. They have that rule of 85 or something like that, where they take your age plus the amount of time you spent there, and if it equals that rule, I forgot what my aunt was talking about, but so yeah, I went on a little high end. My bad. I think when the steel mills was first open, that's when they was working 50 years when they first opened. I was saying, motherfuckers was falling in bats and all kinds of shit.
You start at 10 years old.
Yeah, my bad. Yeah. But here's the thing, though. I go back and forth with this because somebody like my aunt and uncle, who worked there for a long ass time, and then when they got bought, Midwest still got bought by, I think, some of the Japanese or something like that, and they turned into U.S. Steel.
Okay.
When it was Midwest Steel, she worked like 7 to 10 years. Then they got bought by somebody, and her 7 to 10 years were obsolete. So that's crazy. 7 to 10 years meant nothing anymore. Then she had to start all over.
That is crazy.
At U.S. Steel, right? And now, so let's say half of their pension got taken away during that New Deal. Half of their pension. So she still worked all those years, worked their ass off. And I understand why somebody like her or plenty of people, millions of other Americans do kind of what you said at a job. Marcus, like busting your ass, spending pretty much your whole working life at this one place to help it get to where it is. You expect some compensation. However, I also understand the business side when they're like, yo, we're spending millions of dollars a year paying for these people for a long ass time, and they're not working for me anymore. Like, to some degree, I understand when they say, I'm paying you for the time you're putting in here. You're here, so I'm paying you while you're here.
There should be some
When
type
you
of
leave-
fund or something set in place,
Yeah.
man, for them people, like, because all that time
hard
is
to-
not for in
But-
vain. You know what I'm saying? People,
I agree.
People have their
It's-
families.
It's a
Whatever.
sore subject. It's like, I don't know, like, it has to be some balance there, because I
thing-
understand both sides.
I do too. But the thing is, though, like, I'm speaking like currently, like what times are now. Like, I saw the other day that John Deere, the company, obviously, their profits increased 61% last year, which is like, I mean, that's an ungodly amount. Like 5% is that's great. That's progress. That's a great increase. 61%. I mean, it's crazy. And like, so the employees are like, look, man, y'all making these record profits. We deserve more money. So they've been striking. And I'm sure you guys have heard about how like a lot of people aren't going to work, quitting their jobs. So, and part of that is because a lot of these companies made a ridiculous amount of money during the pandemic, and I still are
Mhm.
making it. So they're like, look, y'all making all this money off of our labor. We're here risking our lives, wearing masks and, whatever. And like, we're not seeing any of the benefits of that. So like, they're not asking for, from my understanding, they're not asking like, hey man, we deserve 6 figures now. I don't think they're asking for that, but they're like, look, man, y'all making all this money, but our wages are staying the same. It doesn't seem fair. And I agree. I don't think it's fair. Like, if you're making all this extra money, where's the extra money going? It's just going in your pocket, the higher,
Yeah, I mean, I'm
Yeah.
sure some of it's going into operations.
Of
but,
course.
you have to put some into operations to keep the business going. However, I do think they should see some of that money for sure.
yeah, the people
Especially
are your
in the
number one
system.
asset though.
Yeah,
Because
especially
if they walk out,
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I agree. There has to be some fair way for both of them that makes economical sense too.
Yeah.
But like when you're paying for, because people are living longer than they did back then. So when a company's paying for your retirement and you may live another 30, 40 years, it's like they're not expecting to pay. So so as long as you worked here, I paid you, but then I also pay you I pay you the same amount of time and pension for another 30 years that you're living without getting any work from you. I understand why a business
That's
would be
the
like,
deal,
what the
though.
fuck? What the fuck, yo? We gotta like.
I mean, they
this-
started it.
I know, but I mean,
idea.
you think it's their Social Security though? That shit wasn't meant to last forever. People are living longer than they did back then too. Like the Social Security was not meant to last forever. So folks are trying to. I can understand why a business would be like, this shit wasn't meant to last. Like things are evolving, so let's evolve with it. Which is like the whole 401k thing. So like that's why if you have 401ks and you put in every year, I think it's fair for a company to match it at least while you're there. So you have something or other investments so you can fucking live off of that without having, you know what I'm saying? It's nice to get a pension for sure. If somebody offered it to me, I'm not saying, no, I'm responsible for myself. You know,
I don't think you should pay me after I leave.
Yeah.
And that's my whole point. Like if the company has been offering this pension thing for 70 years, their whole existence, and then they hire me and like, hey man, we're not doing that no more. Like what? Like y'all been doing this for almost a century, and then now you don't want to do it no more.
Like I wish they would. Yeah, I guess it's about the company being very upfront. Like maybe in the interview process, like, so for a couple of years we've been thinking about changing the pension around. How do you still feel about working here? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like, we've been, it's people who've been working there who haven't worked here for 30 years and they're still getting 40 grand a year or some shit.
Yeah.
Something wild, man. I don't know. Businesses, it's an interesting thing, man. I don't know if there will ever be, if business could ever seem 100% fair, because a lot of part of business is to stay in business. So I don't know if business can ever be 100% fair for everybody.
It all depends. Like if your owners are full of greed, then I agree. But there are CEOs and owners out there that I was reading an article this morning where like there's companies that are switching to a 4-day work weeks, and they're like, man, this is actually better because then we're not wasting all our time at work and we're still getting the same amount of work done. And so I'm like, there's
they don't
different ways
have
to
all
do
the
this.
extra time to fuck around. They just they get the like when they know they have limited time, they're more likely to get what they need to get done.
I'm surprised it didn't happen earlier because I mean, I think it's something that's been obvious for a while, like the workload and amount of work hours for just a regular, worker, American worker. You got to put in a lot of work, a lot of time away from home. In other countries, I believe already kind of broke away from that mode.
Yeah.
And I think now it's starting. I mean, it's always just gonna be like what the people. We kind of get what we want if we all like just band together.
Exactly.
And now it's like it seems so simple, but now it's like people really starting to be like, "Hey, I'm not about that." Like,
yeah. Then you have those prideful people though, like I work hard, I show up every day, I strap on my work boots, and like, okay, cool, but you messing it up though. Like, chill out.
You right about that, man. Like, I've worked with some guys who won't even take the time that they have
earned.
Like,
the time that they literally earned.
Yeah, I'm like people like, oh, you call off, and like, I'm not gonna use mine. Like, are you the company? Like, are you the CEO? Like, what's wrong with you?
Nah, I feel you.
Taking all my time.
Yeah, my girl didn't used to like it. She had a couple ex coworkers who would like. I guess for me, it's more if you're bragging, who would almost brag and be like, "Oh, I worked. I worked. I stayed at work till like 7 p.m. and it's just like, okay, I was able to get my work done before then, and I went home and lived the rest of my life. But okay, if that's what you want to do. To me, it's a prerogative thing. If I want to work longer because I actually don't mind it, I'm just not gonna be talking shit like to make other people feel bad. I'm taking my fucking vacation.
I can call off and still get paid, I'm
yes,
fine with that.
Like, just like I said last episode, I'm doing my best to be comfortable. I'm not trying to make any decisions that's gonna make me uncomfortable. I'm what is the easiest path for as long as I live? What is the easiest path to do this life thing? Because I'm not like,
I feel that, bro.
There's no point of adding any added stress. Life is hard enough.
I feel that, man. I feel that. It's just, I don't know, man. It's all like it's just a wild fucking thing, man. Just hearing people like, you know what? I don't know. I guess it depends on the person's mindset, but it's shocking to me when somebody's like, man, I haven't taken vacation for 2 years, 3 years. You haven't used any of your PTO hours for 2-3. But I guess then when you have 3 months saved up, I guess, when you do want to take them and go somewhere, but a lot of businesses won't let you take them consecutively anyway, like that.
Yeah. So, the issue is,
or you lose them.
Like, exactly. Because the last company I worked for, I didn't know that you lost your vacation days. So the end of the year is coming. Everybody's taking time off. I'm like, hey, what everybody taking time off for? I'm just going about my day. Then I find out, it's because you lose it if you don't. So I'm like, and the thing is, I was strategically waiting to take it for my birthday, which is the beginning of January, but the time ends at the end of December. So I'm like, so essentially, I'm never going to, at that company, I would have never been able to take any vacation days between like January and April because I'm still trying to accumulate the hours. So I'm like, I think that's a terrible system because if you ever want to take vacation in the end of winter, you're screwed because you don't have any time left.
Man. Agreed. They at my job, they roll like some of them they roll over to a certain amount. And I think that's fair. I mean, like you can't go past the max of such and such hours, but some roll over. So that way you get a little something,
Yeah. So that way, if you want to take Martin Luther King's Day off, you can.
Yeah.
Not that that's a common day to take off, but
exactly. Goddamn. All right. Well, I feel like now that we've done a good job of summing up work-life balance and how businesses should and shouldn't run. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
Marco, you're on mute, bro. You're on mute.
My bad. I just said we solved a lot of issues in life today.
Yes,
all
indeed.
the world's ills.
Shit, you got it before me. See, I'm trying to get better at letting people talk before we interrupt them, like not interrupting. So, but that means you can get that joke off before me. Damn it.
Let me get this joke off.
Yeah.
We gotta make a merch. We gotta make a merch shirt.
Marcus started a monster, bro. He created a fucking monster with that. We definitely got to make that a shirt.
Yeah,
For sure. All right, fellas, it's been another blessing of sorts. And
Yes,
how we want to do this? Who's going? You gonna make me do it now?
Peace and love, everyone.
I'm aiming
Thanks
for
for
Marcus.
joining us today on the InforMILLy Honest podcast. Yes.
There we go. I'm just you can edit that out. Adam, I just wanted to be very informal about this exit strategy. Now, of course, y'all, we appreciate you listening as always. And once again, if you would like to reach out to us and provide some feedback, please rate and review. I want to sound professional like Oprah does on the Apple podcast. Please, wherever you listen to this, please provide reviews, feedback, rates, and all of that jazz. Wherever you listen to podcasts, you can email us at the InforMILLy Honest Podcast at gmail.com. Hit us up on Instagram at InforMILLy Honest. Or if you are a professional Twitter finger user, then you can hit us up at InforMILLy_HP. And wherever else, pretty much everywhere, including YouTube, that you like to listen and view podcasts. We hope you enjoyed this episode as much as we did, and we encourage you to come back next week as we continue this journey, this meandering, this maneuvering through this thing we call life while following these 3 motherfucking principles. We keep the atmosphere very much informal. We keep it honest. See, I switch it up there. We keep it honest. And in the midst of that, we're going to be forthright somewhere. We're going to be forthright in there somewhere, baby. Thanks for listening, y'all. We appreciate it. And we will catch you next week, our faithful followers. Any last words?
About to kill us, man. Just have a good week. Be safe.
I plead the 5th.
Rate and review.
Much love, y'all. See y'all next time
And
on
as
episode
always,
number
64.
64.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, as always, is peace.
Can't look
Much
in the
love.
eyes of my brother
Signing out.
without shedding a tear for my brother. I really wanna try for my brother, 'cause I truly do feel for my brother.